Welcome to Being Intrepid, where we gather practical insights from leaders who are shaping the future of learning and work. And I'm thrilled today to be having a conversation with Betty.
Hello, everyone. Betty Dannewitz. Nice to meet you.
And so we're here at DevLearn.
Yeah,
And, here on the conference, not exactly on the conference floor, but we're in the conference building.
pretty close. Yeah.
And this is so cool because this is really an on-the-fly conversation that Betty and I are having.
Yeah.
And so we're bringing you some of the wisdom from DevLearn, but this is going to be about some of the things that Betty is working on, thinking about, podcasting about imposter syndrome for the L&D professional. So tell us a little bit, Betty, about what that means to you and how you got interested in this topic.
Sure. So imposter syndrome, just in case nobody knows, is sort of like that incessant feeling of self-doubt, like that feeling like I'm going to be found out as a fraud, that feeling like you're a fraud, even though, and this is the key, like if you just feel that, maybe if that's the end of the sentence, maybe you are an imposter. But if the rest of the sentence is, even though the data, the facts, the truth backs up the complete opposite, right? So you actually are quite skilled. That's what imposter syndrome is. And I see that a lot in this industry. So sort of what got me interested is I started a podcast in 2020, the If You Ask Betty podcast. And the reason I started a podcast is because I love to have great conversations, just like the one that we're having. And I always would think to myself, man, I wish I could hit record because so-and-so would love to hear this conversation. Someone was like, well, why don't you just do that? And I was like, okay, yeah. So just hit record. So as I was having conversations with these folks that are so well-known in the industry, so successful, I kept hearing the same theme over and over. They would use words like unworthy, not enough, what is the word? Inadequate.
Yeah.
And I was like, these people have imposter syndrome. Right. And I know it because I have imposter syndrome. So I know exactly what it looks and feels like, and I could hear it. And so that kind of got me on this sort of practical research route where I started doing, buckets of interviews with people to understand more about imposter syndrome and how it affects people. And one of the things that has really come out, especially over the last couple of years, which I think is where we're going today, is the idea of technology triggering that feeling of imposter syndrome. Any kind of technology. So it can be social media. I mean, if you're on social media, you don't feel like an imposter.
Right.
Show me what sites you're on because I want to be there. Because every other one makes me feel like LinkedIn makes me feel terrible all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, but then also like AI.
Yeah.
And even learning any new system, and there's constant new systems.
Right.
So that can really trigger somebody's imposter syndrome.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm interested in, you mentioned kind of going deep in imposter syndrome. Like, what does the research say about it? I mean, I'm curious about that.
So for a long time, it has been thought that only women had imposter syndrome. This is false. This is not true. In fact, quite a few of the folks that I interviewed were not women, but men, and definitely, sort of used the same words that, it's not enough. I'm not enough. I'm unworthy. I'm inadequate. Those types of things. And so that's one of the things that's been debunked lately is that it's just women that have imposter syndrome. That's not true. Right. It is, in fact, it's so highly studied that the psychology industry actually calls it imposter phenomenon. Do you know what a phenomenon is?
I don't know the difference between a phenomenon and a syndrome.
So a syndrome is, and I'm going to do, this is the Betty definition. Okay.
Right. We're talking real.
We're talking real. The Betty definition is syndrome is a collection of symptoms.
Okay.
That are not necessarily a disease,
diagnosis. Okay.
Right? Or but it's a collection of symptoms that tend to come together.
Okay.
So that's imposter syndrome.
Okay.
Phenomenon is a collection of symptoms that come together that have happened to multitudes of people.
Right.
That's why it's it's a phenomenon.
Right.
And so
it's of our time.
Yeah. And it's across the way. And so what I found in my interviews is I interviewed people from all over the world, all different backgrounds, all different sexual orientations, sex assigned at birth, like everything that could be different. I tried to pull in all the different pieces because I wanted to know, do we all really feel the same thing? And we're just faking it for each other.
Yeah.
And the short answer is, Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Exactly.
Okay. Fascinating. So when we think about all that, I wonder if there's a relationship between the acceleration of change and how we're trying to absorb that. So we're all kind of imposters making our way through this change, and of course, the big change in L&D right now and the world in general is generative AI. So how do you see that showing up? We're here at this conference at DevLearn.
Yeah.
Everyone, of course, the conversation is around generative AI. How does that show up for L&D professionals now with this change?
I know I started talking about this because at first I was very embarrassed. I'm not gonna lie, but so I talk about imposter syndrome, and I have imposter syndrome. And the first time I used AI to write something for me, I was like, first of all, it was really good.
Yep.
And the second all, I was like, well, what do you need me for? Like, I literally felt like all of my talent was deflated. I felt like a deflated balloon, and all of my talent just went out there. I was like, whoa. I felt so bad. And I wonder, and I've asked quite a few people, do you feel the same way about AI? Because AI can do what we do, sometimes better, always faster.
Yes.
But not everything that we do.
Yes.
And so it took me a while to kind of accept that that's okay.
Yeah.
It's actually okay because I can find a way to use it to help me be better.
Right.
And to be more efficient myself.
Right.
And that was sort of I had to do some reframing.
Yep.
That AI is not, it's not the enemy. It can be a helper. And also I don't have to use it.
Right.
So like I had to reframe the whole, it didn't just beat you or prove you to be worse. It's just here to help you.
Right.
And it took some time.
And it could take you to like a baseline level. You can get certain things done, and that frees you to do other things. But this is interesting. With the imposter syndrome, we have this kind of baseline level of imposter syndrome that's already there, right? In our human condition. And then we add generative AI on top of it, and we start to feel like, oh shit, maybe where is my worth in this?
Exactly. Like what do you need me for? AI can do all of this. Right. And unfortunately, what happens is when people feel that trigger, they tend to behave in one of two ways. One, they might dig in and say, well, I'm just gonna get better, and I'm gonna go take another class, and I'm gonna get another credential. And guys, that's not the answer. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you really want to get another credential because you want it, then do that. But don't do it to get back at AI, because in a minute it's gonna be even better, and you're gonna be like, well, now I need a PhD, and that's not the answer. Right. But or they shrink.
Yes.
And they're like, well, I they hold on to that feeling of I'm not needed anymore. I'm not any good at this anymore. Right. And what happens is they say it enough, either mentally or out loud, that they believe it. Right. And they forget who they are. Right. They forget all the things that they've done. Right. They forget what got them to the point where they could actually open AI and ask it a prompt that generated something. You forgot all of that.
Yeah.
You forgot that you did that. Yeah. And you forgot the fact that by reading it and you knew it was good because you're good at what you do.
Right.
But it's just like it falls out of our head. And so there's some remembering. Like I always think of there's the scene in The Lion King when he sees his dad as a ghost. Yeah. And he's like, remember who you are. That was terrible. I'm not very good at James Earl Jones. But it's like he's like that's what I think of is we have to stop and have that Simba moment, that Simba Mufasa moment where we remember who we are, because just because something showed up and seemed like it did what we've spent years doing so easily doesn't mean that our years are wasted.
Right.
That's what brought us to this point. So.
Right. Right. And you said reframing.
Absolutely.
You needed to do some reframing for yourself. So
okay, hold on,
please,
because you just made me think of something. Have you ever had something framed? Have you ever gone to the craft store?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so tell me about that experience. Was it easy? Was it cheap?
It was not cheap.
It was not cheap.
Reframing is not cheap. It's not easy because you're thinking about the matting, and you're thinking about, what's the texture,
Yeah.
and where in your home is this going to live,
Yep.
and what's the type of artwork or document that
Yeah.
you're trying to portray, and what does that say about
Uh-huh.
the frame. So there's a lot of considerations.
There is a lot. And the way you find that out is the first time you go to frame something and you think, oh, this will be $19.99. No, it won't.
Yes.
It will be 3 hours of your life that you'll never get back, and way more money than you ever thought you would spend.
Absolutely.
And so I say that because reframing or framing something is not easy. And it's not cheap. It costs money, it costs time, it costs effort. And so when I might say something like, you have to reframe that, and it sounds like, oh, Betty, you just made it sound like I was like, click. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not it. It's hard work.
Yeah.
To every time that thought or that feeling comes, to grab it and be like, hold on, let's look at it a different way.
Right.
And you have to keep doing that. So it's a practice you have to get into. So I always say sometimes, I'm like, you know what you need to do? You need to take it to Michael's and reframe it. Michael's is where I would go.
Okay.
So people do Hobby Lobby, whatever.
Okay.
Take it to the craft store and reframe it. And it sounds easy.
Yeah.
But it's actually a lot of work.
Yeah. I just finished a novel. I'm kind of in this Peter Heller kick. He's this I don't know, he kind of does futuristic dystopian type of stuff, but it's like tied with adventure. And he's got this character who just said, wait a minute, I need a minute. And he would like pause, and then he'd come back, and he was reframing.
He was reframing.
Yeah.
You have to actually like to be able to reframe while you're in the middle of a conversation. That's got to be a superpower, because you have to stop and pause and actually almost physically say to yourself, this is not my initial reaction. It's actually this, and reframe it.
Yeah. And, it seems like a conversation a little bit it reminds me too of kind of the emotional regulation, emotional skills you need to interact with other people, maybe who are triggering or, some kind of behavior, which is a skill we think about a lot externally as leaders for leader development, to communicate effectively with people. But this is like for yourself. It's grace for yourself.
Oh yeah.
Is what I'm really kind of connecting here.
I just got a big smile, because grace is one of my favorite non-business. We should use it in all business words. A lot of times grace has more of a religious affiliation, but the whole idea of grace is giving somebody something that they don't deserve, which is actually grace. So like, let me allow you to be who you are, even though you haven't necessarily earned it from me.
Right.
And I just love that word. Anyways, that was a little side note, little rabbit trail. Sorry about that.
No. Love it. I mean, we're making some interesting connections here. So I am interested in going back to what you said earlier about gender, because my own bias immediately was, guys are really good at bluffing their way through things.
Sure.
That's a bias maybe that I hold that view. So I'm really interested to hear about your experience that this is truly showing up for all. I'm not saying that men don't have imposter syndrome. I'm just saying that they cover it maybe a bit more. Is that your experience?
Yeah, I think maybe their ability and their ability to consistently mask it is maybe of a higher. I don't know. I don't have the numbers to back that up. Sure. But I could see what you mean by that, because typically men tend to be less emotional, or at least show less emotion.
Right.
I think that has tipped in the generations.
Yes.
We're Gen X.
Yes.
Together.
Yes.
Anyways, fight the power. Okay.
That's right.
We're Gen X. So Gen X, I think, is where the tipping began. And so like, there's a lot less of that whole men are not emotional, women are very emotional.
Right.
But I do think that it comes down to that masking capability.
Yeah.
I know a lot of really wicked smart women that you would never think have imposter syndrome. Several of them have been interviewed by me.
Yep.
And you would just be shocked. But as far as like the guys go, some of the folks that I had on my podcast, one really sort of popular name that you probably know quite well is Tim Slade. He's very well known for e-learning. He has the e-learning academy.
Yeah.
Well, sorry if I said that wrong too. And he was one of the first. He was like the 8th person I interviewed.
Yeah.
One gentleman, Mo Ash, who is from Egypt. He's actually here at DevLearn.
Okay.
He's a gamification savant. I claimed him as that. He is way too humble to say things like that.
Okay.
Incredibly, wickedly smart, so successful. massive imposter syndrome. And if he was
Yeah.
sitting next to me, I'd say the
Yeah.
same thing. He was one of the first interviews I did and has had probably the most listens
Okay.
because he is so real.
Yeah. So authentic.
So authentic.
Yeah.
So I think it's a misnomer that it's only women versus men. I think we all feel it.
Sure.
It's just a matter of how much do we allow it to get in our way,
Yeah.
and how much do we allow others to know about it. I think women tend to confide more in each other.
Absolutely.
And dudes are like, I don't know, man.
I'm good. I don't
know, man. This feels weird, but I'm fine.
I'm
like,
fine.
And women do that too. Like, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But then they're also like, I don't believe you.
Mm-hmm.
And guys are like, oh, whatever, it's fine. Like,
well,
it's a thing. It's who we are. It's just who we are.
Yeah.
And anyways.
Yeah, and that masking is not healthy, and probably the way that women, at least if it's showing up for all people, at least women are talking about it maybe a bit more, and that is healthy, right? To be able to talk about it. So, and I would say as an entrepreneur, and we would talk about every entrepreneur has absolutely felt this, and whether they talk about it or not, it's there.
Yeah,
because it's kind of like, how could it not be? Because like you actually have not done all these things before.
Right.
Starting a business.
I mean, one of the biggest triggers is starting something new. So it could be a new job, new responsibility. I mean, and this goes not just in your career, but at home. I mean, one of the strongest moments of imposter syndrome was when I first time I had a baby.
Yes.
And I brought this 8-pound, 14-ounce, about killed me baby home.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, now what do I do?
Where's the handbook?
I'm an only child, so like I had zero reference. I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna figure out how to change this diaper, I guess. I don't know. And I remember calling my mom, Lucy, my oldest. She was 5 days old, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. I'm an early bird.
Yeah.
I'm up at 5, ready to go.
Okay.
9 o'clock, I'm like out.
Yeah.
So it was like 11 p.m. and she's sitting in her little swing thing, and she's just.
She's not nervous.
Wide awake. And I remember calling my mom, and I was like, this was a terrible idea. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't take care of a baby. And she's like, she just started laughing at me, just like you are. She's like, you're going to be fine. I said, she doesn't want to sleep. I need to sleep. And of course I was very sleep deprived.
Yeah.
But also like, it was that whole feeling of, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And so anytime something is new, it's normal for us to feel that.
Yeah.
And it's the part where we forget that we actually have like done all these things, and like
right. Could have led you to that
have led me to this point. And so like it's completely blacked out. You can't even wrap your head around it. Yeah. So anytime something is new, that's a big trigger.
Yeah. And like you said, like you're just so locked into that newness and that discomfort and that unfamiliarity that you forget all that base that you have there.
It's like you just started that day. Like,
it's like, oh, wow.
Just started life that day. And that is not the case at all. Not at all.
So, this is drawing another connection for me, which is imposter syndrome for learners. Like learners are most scenarios are learning something new.
Oh yeah.
And so learners have imposter syndrome.
Absolutely.
How do you think about that as an instructional designer, as a developer of content for leader development?
What a great question.
Yeah.
I love that. I think a lot of the ways that we now currently instructionally design things take that into account without even thinking about it. So for example, if I'm teaching a new concept, maybe it starts with, here's a little vignette about what you're about to learn, or showing an example. Let me do a little bit of teaching and lay the foundation. And then a lot of times, then we jump right into, why don't you practice just this one part that you've learned?
Right.
And the reason we do that practice is because we want people to already start to feel like they're developing some mastery on the subject, so that when we get to their full-blown practice where they're actually showing us the skill, they've already started to sort of ramp it up.
Right.
So if you're designing learning and you're just teaching people a bunch of stuff and then you're like, okay, go do it, you're going to have there's going to be tension.
Right.
But if you do it a little bit at a time, you help to build up that mastery.
Yeah.
And then another thing that I think is so important when you're doing instructional design, you have to stop and ask for points of reflection.
Yes.
And sometimes I have to go back and actually remove a couple because I put too many in. And I'm like, Betty, they don't want to sit and think about their feelings all day. But there are important, even if you're teaching something technical.
Right.
At some point, maybe you've got to practice one. Maybe part of the debrief is not only, what did you do, but how did it feel
Right.
to
Right.
get started in XYZ
Right.
process? Because they need to also start to think about, I felt uncomfortable.
Yep.
But at the end, I actually felt a little bit better. Like I can, and here's, I can, you know what I was
do
going to say?
this.
I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do this. So there's a little bit of building up confidence, but then what happens is when they get to the end, they remember that they did all these things.
Right.
So the imposter syndrome
Yep.
is less.
Yep.
The feeling of self-doubt is less.
Yep.
And so that's the whole idea, is building that mastery. So
Love
as long
that.
as we're doing that,
Yeah.
and which anyone worth their salt is doing that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But we're reframing, I guess, a little bit here to put the light on this. And yeah, I think about too, when people are entering a learning experience, maybe just whether it's digital or facilitated, just recognizing maybe the learner, like, hey, great job showing up. Like, this is new for you, and we're going to take you through this journey, and we're going to reflect back on your context and what this means.
Absolutely.
What this means for you. So, awesome, fantastic. So, what are you most excited about with DevLearn this next couple days?
Well, Keith Keating was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've known him for a long time, so it was really neat to see somebody.
Absolutely.
It was a double whammy today, because I got to see Keith up there, but just before that, they gave one of my close friends, Jeff Batt, the Guildmaster Award this year. So
fantastic.
I was both trying. He laughed at me. I was trying to record it from way too far away, but also clap, and I was like, I can't.
There you go. You can snap.
I know. It's like, I'm so excited, but I'm also trying to record it. But yeah, so I'm excited about that, and I actually have. My badge is down there. I have a press pass this time.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is fun, because I it's not that I don't love to speak. I do, but I get to focus on finding some folks and bringing them in to talk about their experiences with imposter syndrome. And I also want to talk a little bit about the future of L&D.
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of people are having a lot of dark thoughts, and I want to see. I want to see how we can make them a little lighter. And here's the thing: if I find only people with dark thoughts, we'll just scrap that.
Yeah,
we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, we don't need to.
But I have a feeling there are other people that also have really strong opinions that this could actually be good for us, and so I'd love to hear that. So those are the things I'm looking.
Exciting.
More conversations.
I mean, I think you and I are the two podcasters at DevLearn.
I think so. I think there's.
Is there another?
I think we're the only two that are really doing this. I think there's the 360 Learning. Is that right?
Sure.
Is doing one as well.
Okay.
But I think they're only doing one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
we're overachieving.
Yeah, totally. This is so fun.
It is. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining. And for our audience, of course, if you enjoyed this podcast, which we know you did, you can follow us on Being Intrepid on all platforms, and your podcast.
Yes, the If You Ask Betty podcast, wherever you can find podcasts. Or if you, for some reason, can't find it, which I doubt, just type into Google If You Ask Betty, all one word, and it'll show up for you.
Awesome.
Yay.
So for our listeners, keep asking the tough questions, stay curious, and keep on learning. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.